DeAndre.
All right,
Live,
we
inshallah.
are live. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. We ask Him to send peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Welcome to another Dots Connected to Islam live stream. So this is a double TikTok live stream because we are really obsessed with doing this sort of thing. And today, Dots Connected to Islam is breaking history on 2 counts. First, this is the latest we have ever started our live streams. We typically start around 1 to 2 hours earlier. And second, this is the latest our good friend Ali has ever been. So I would like all of you to give him a round of applause in the chat for your brother DeAndre, please. Thank you. Anyways, to move on to something more serious but less funny, the topic of this stream is an important one that strikes at the heart of Christian and Muslim interfaith dialogue. The very disputes are headed and founded by the particular scriptures that these faiths adhere to. This is why we ask Christians today to prove the proposition the Bible is from God true. We would like some motivation to accept this proposition as true, and we're not going to tolerate begging the question, i.e., the Bible's from God because it is, or the Bible's from God because it says it is. Those 2 things are reduced to the same thing, which is going to be begging the question. We want sincere and honest people who will present arguments that we can engage with on an intellectual level. And with that out of the way, this leads me to my discussion pertaining to the house rules that I read all the time for those who are new and for those who are nimwits who can't understand basic human dialogue. Unfortunately, TikTok, more so than YouTube, is filled with none other than the latter. Anyways, our house rules include, number 1, do not blaspheme Islam or any holy figures. Number 2, do not violate the limits of human conversation, i.e., don't interrupt, don't add harm, be civil, be cordial. And number 3, to extending cordiality wrong, you are allowed to disagree with us. We're not punishing disagreement. We're happy to have pushback on any of our points that we have articulated in this TikTok live, or pushback in why we don't accept the proposition true. But as long as you disagree with us sincerely and honestly and present intellectual arguments instead of being a sophist or waving around rhetorical games, we're not. The disagreement is fine. The disagreement is going to benefit all of us. Okay, now with that out of the way, I do have one person with me today, so it's not like Ali left me rambling for 15 whole minutes like he did on last stream of LPT. Yeah, I'm still mad at that. I'm going to hand it over to my brother Fawad here. Assalamu alaikum, brother Fawad. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all you guys. Assalamu alaikum, brother Fawad. It's been a long time, man. Just tell us about, I don't know, your week, your month, your year, I don't know.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi. Alhamdulillah, everything good. How about yourself? How's your health, family?
Health is good. Family is good, alhamdulillah. I'm off of school, so kind of enjoying that. So yeah. Been off for like a week or so.
So let's put up the link for people to join. Anybody that wants to join, they would have to join through TikTok, inshallah. So here's the link, and let me pin that. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To Brother Asad, to Brother Dark, to all of the brothers and sisters joining us. Wait, I actually have to pin this. Let me switch to my account and then we can switch to TikTok. All right, so pin message, I think that's done. All right, so see you guys on TikTok.
Yep.
DeAndre, I'm going to share the link with you.
Okay.
Just one quick second. There you go.
All
There's
right.
a link.
Yep, I just got it. I'm gonna now get on the TikTok. See you
All right.
guys.
All right. See you guys there.
Okay. That humanity,
Go ahead,
they,
Taj.
yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, so I felt in the spirit to talk about something in the Bible, though. In the days of, let's say, Acts 2:17 or Acts 2, in the Pentecostal days, where the Holy Spirit was coming to the 12 apostles in the house while they were eating and drinking, and this Spirit was just laying upon their shoulders or as a fire of Him as He promised them. Maybe they already forgot about it and was sleeping, but He came.
Uh,
And
Atis, can you? I'm sorry. Can you? So I'm you not. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm asking. I don't, because the answer you're giving does not really answer the prompt. How does this show that the Bible is from God? Is actually from God?
that when you read it, then you have given the opportunity to not only read it but also follow the scriptures and then have them embodied in your life through Him, so you might know Him.
So if it makes sense, you're saying the Bible is from God because you have to read it to show that it's from God.
I mean, if you want to go there, then Yeshua himself, he said that he was walking around and asking the people about the leader. Where is your leader authority? Then the people, they gave him a silver coin and they pointed to it and said, "Here is your leader." And he looked at it and he saw Caesar. And then he said to the people, "Then give to Caesar what belongs to him and even more. But to God, the things, give it to him." So the Bible, that's the things of God concerns the Father. Yeah.
But
But the funny thing is, like, I'm more into
uh,
like what really happened. if you look back into our recorded history, where Noah was warning the people about God's coming judgment and how did they behave and react to the warning, they all drowned, of course. Moses, he was lifting the serpent and he split the rock of Horeb. And water was coming out to all the people. They crossed the Red Sea on dry ground. He wrote
Thais,
the
brothers,
words.
with all due respect, I'm sorry to interrupt. You're not answering the brother's question. All you're doing is you're just telling us different events. If I wanted to read what's written in the Bible, I would open up the Bible myself. I don't have to have you or any Christians here or put up this prompt asking you guys to prove it to be from God.
Why did he then ask me about it to prove it? Then you
Yes.
can just
And
go read it.
how is that relaying different stories from a book that you claim is from God? How is that proving it is from God? I have a whole bunch of books over here. If I start relaying stories from it, does that make it to be from God?
Yeah. Do you know what God
It
is?
does.
What is God?
So I literally can author a book with my own hands, and I can write different stories in there, and I can, write in there that this is a book from God, and it just turns out to be from God then, right?
Is Jesus Christ? Do you know him?
Yes, I do know him.
Then you know he's from God, right?
He's a prophet that was sent from God. He was a human being like you and I.
Yeah. So Christ.
Okay.
So that's the things of God, right? That's what the Bible is all about. Try to recreate
Right.
and memorize that.
Is the Bible the only book that talks about Jesus Christ? So any book that basically talks about Jesus Christ that happens to be from God, that's a qualification?
No, because as I talked about the distortion part, they even took Christ into movies like Narnia. He was the lion, Aslan, into
What? Wait, what?
into different movies. They have put it into all recorded cultures and religions and spiritual
Brother,
beliefs.
what the
Books,
heck are you even saying? With all due respect to you, man.
all books. That's actually Christ. He's the most noted down character in the whole history. Into
Yes,
books.
we do
That's how
agree. Look,
fantasy
at
comes
best,
in.
at best, you're telling me that the Bible speaks about this character named Jesus Christ,
Oh yeah.
right? From
He's
there, how are you jumping to it to be from God? Can you fill in those blanks for me, please? How are you making that leap?
Of course, Jesus was not the Bible. They could only note about him, right? So
What?
if we then just look at Jesus, then just look at him himself.
Can I just maybe
Go
you
ahead,
don't
go ahead,
understand the
Saifullah, go ahead.
question. Maybe you don't understand the question. Guys,
Or
why
the
do you
noting
believe
part.
that why do you believe that the Bible was inspired by God and not just a bunch of fan fiction written by people making up their own things about Jesus?
They of course did that afterwards, but our ancestors, they truly had a serious fight. Our ancestors, so what the Bible is nothing more than our ancestors. What should be the most important thing right now to focus on in this world, at this present, that our ancestors, they truly noted down what happened throughout every generations.
Why do you believe that they were being truthful?
Why should you give your life up for it then?
So that's the criteria. So wait, so Tias, are you saying that the criteria is because they gave their lives for it? That means it's true.
I mean, truth cannot be told; it has to be experienced. So, of course, our ancestors, they had to experience all these things that is being mentioned in the Bible.
All
They
right.
had to literally go
Let me
through
ask you this, okay? Let me ask you this: how many books of the Bible do you read?
I have
Do you
read the
believe
whole
in?
Bible.
Do you believe in a, Do you believe in 66? Do you believe in 73 or 77? How many books in the Bible that you read right now? How many books are there total?
I can't remember. We have the Old Testament and the New Testament. There's a lot of
Yeah.
books.
How many
Yeah.
books are? How many books as a whole? For example, in your Bible, is there the book of Tobit in there?
Come again?
In the Bible that you read right now, is there a book called Tobit in there?
I cannot remember.
You don't. You okay? How about Baruch?
I cannot remember that either. What about John? What about Ezekiel?
What's your denomination?
Joel? My nomination. What does that mean?
Your
I never heard.
Are you Catholic? Are you Orthodox? Are you
No,
Protestant?
I'm not. I just try to look in the mirror and try to look as match, Christ.
Can
It's
you
kind of hard,
can you
loving
answer
yourself.
can you
Forgiving.
answer a single question like a normal human being?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not normal, and I think these people are not normal either. Definitely
Brother,
not Christ.
the thing is, we have yet to get a straight answer out of you. Come on, what? It's so
Yeah.
simple. What is your denomination? If you're non-denominational, just say so.
I was baptized as a baby in a what's it called? Just a natural church in Denmark. I can't remember how specifically what it's called, the name, but it's more of an original people's church. I think it's called. In Danish, it's called Folkekirke, like Folke, like that's church, or like the people.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you subscribe to the Pope?
No, I don't subscribe
Then
to.
you're not okay. Then you're not Catholic. How about the Eastern Orthodox Church?
No,
Okay, then you're not really. Oh yeah, you're from Denmark, so you most likely not Orthodox either. Wait, that's crazy. So
I subscribe to my own visions. God, He showed me something.
and how
So
do you know that? And how do you know that was God?
how do I know that these things I experienced was God? Then
Yeah.
it only could come as a test by people
So
hearing
let
it.
me give an example. If I have an experience, let's say I tell you right now, hey bro, last night I had a dream that I saw Jesus, and Jesus told me to be Muslim.
At least I heard it right.
Does that mean Islam is true?
I mean,
If I told you I had a dream, I had an experience by having a dream, a real dream that I saw Jesus. I was up in the clouds. I saw Jesus coming in white robes and stuff out of the gates, pearly gates and stuff like that. And Jesus said, "Worship Allah, be Muslim. Islam is the right faith." Does that mean Islam is true because of my experience?
no.
Why not? It's my experience.
Yeah, maybe it's
Why
true
is
for you.
why is my experience false, but your experience is true?
The thing is, if it's from God, if it's
Mhm.
always was from God, I mean, I
Mhm.
would gladly hear your encounters or your visions and what God had specifically showed you,
But
brother.
how can you? But no, but you've already, unfortunately, you just rejected it. So you didn't want to hear it's from God because you just said no, it's not. So my
No,
question to
I
you is,
didn't.
how you just said? I just asked you. Does that mean it? Does that mean it's from God? You said no. So
Yeah,
you
but
really
that
you. So let me ask you this: what determines what's from God? Which, if anybody can have any religious experience, anybody can have anything.
yeah. So
What
maybe it
does
is. I
so
was not saying it was not.
why does that make your religious experience true, but it doesn't make anybody else's true?
I was
Why is
saying
that?
that I was not like closing the door for it to be true. Maybe it is, but it only depends if that person who got this uh, revelation or whatever, this dream or this encounter, this thing, that they get allowed to tell this to the people. So God is like a seed, a word that is being planted to the people.
Please, can you please tell us what is the criteria to show that something is from God, and don't use what it says in the Bible, because the Bible is the one that's being questioned. What is the criteria that determines that something is from God?
Yeah, when God he strikes in with certain things, then it's like obvious for us not to forget it, right?
What?
It kind of sips in, doesn't it? How about when
Please,
Moses he
can you
split
please?
the Red Sea?
What did I just tell you?
It kind of
What
feels real,
what
right?
what did I just tell you? What is the criteria that shows
It
a
showed us.
text, meaning the Bible, meaning the Quran, meaning any religious text that comes to and claims to be the truth?
Then you don't know what it is. It's
What is the criteria that shows it's from God? Thais,
so
please
when
answer.
Jesus
Please
Christ he
answer.
rose again from the death.
Thais, why do you believe that?
When he rose again,
Why do you believe that?
it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
No, it's
How can you
not.
forget it?
Why do you believe that?
But it's not obvious to us. We don't believe that,
I
he
mean, it's the
rose
most
from the dead.
famous thing that has ever happened on the face
No,
of
it's
the planet. Everyone
no,
knows it. So
no, it's
it's not
not.
amazing.
What did I just ask you, Tice?
There's something about how can you come to see the truth,
What did
whether
I
it was
just What
given
did
to
I
you.
just ask you? If you're not gonna answer the question, then you might as well, then we're gonna bid you a good night, because at this point you're deliberately going out of your way to not answer questions. Let me ask you this question again, and this will be the last time. Why do you believe he was crucified?
Due to our behavioral reactions and condition.
Due
That's
to a
why.
what?
Due to our condition, how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves.
What is
Can
that?
you
What does that
elaborate on
mean?
that? Can you elaborate? So basically, you're saying that this criteria cannot be. So I can apply this objective criteria to any book that claims to be from God, and I can come to the conclusion which is the correct book from God. Correct?
I mean, it's not up for me to tell you the truth. That's the spirit for you over time.
Okay. So then you don't have an objective criteria. Thank you. That was the whole point that we wanted to prove, that Christians do not have an objective criteria to prove that Bible is from God. Thank you. So you've conceded, basically.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that now we remember everything that happened, right? Slowly. I mean, not everything. I mean, probably more happened that we even know about. But some of the biggest things, God, He made sure that today we do remember. And can you deny that Moses he split the Red Sea and over like hundred thousands of people?
How does that prove the Bible's from God?
Yeah.
How can you not prove that this is from God? If you
I'm
remember,
asking. That's what we're asking you. How does that prove the Bible's from God?
Prove that Moses split the sea, for instance,
I mean, wasn't it pretty
without
obvious?
referring to the Bible,
All
without
right.
referring to prove that he split the sea.
Christ, He did everything for us. Didn't you see
How,
what happened?
how do you know that?
Yeah.
He was being put up to a
How
cross.
do you know that?
That is true that He what?
How do you know that?
I just know. Sometimes I've been knowing.
You just know. So you have no reason. You just know.
Then I say I don't know. Yeah.
So you don't know that you just know.
I mean, believing things. This is
So
beyond believing.
so you just believe it and you don't know why you believe it.
No, this is beyond believing.
So it's beyond believing and you don't know why.
It's faith.
So it's faith. You just have faith that it is.
So what is your question about what is?
My question is, how can you prove it?
Prove what?
Okay, Tice, you have a good night.
Yeah.
This is just getting ridiculous. All right, let's at least.
I like this version of Ali. We need to
Well,
only go live from now on when he is tired.
shut up. Anyways, that's good. Okay, he's loading. Hit the last
guys.
action. How you doing, last action? Anyways,
Hello.
hello, can you hear
Hello?
us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, I think there's a little bit of a lag, but
That's a beautiful question you have out there.
okay. First things first, my man. Can you tell us about your about your background? Like, what will are you a Protestant or are you even a Christian? Are you Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox?
Yes, I'm a Orthodox. I'm a Christian, yeah.
You're Orthodox?
Yeah, actually, sorry, I have this problem, man. I understand Catholics, yeah, but who divided this other Christianity?
You what?
I understand about Catholics, but then who come up with other divisions of Christianity? I don't understand.
Oh, well, that's a person. That's actually something to talk about on another day, but it's going to deviate away from the topic. Okay, so if maybe
Okay.
we'll have a live that talks
No
about that.
problem.
But in the meantime, can you please address the prompt?
Okay. Can I answer the question you asked on the?
Go ahead.
No problem. Okay, actually, Bible is the only book that can help you Muslims to track back all the old prophets.
How does that prove it's from
That's
God?
why. That's why I say that is from God. Because wait. I didn't finish.
Go ahead.
Because without the Bible, there is no way with your Quran you can explain all the old prophets or prove me wrong.
How does that make the Bible true?
Yeah, because for you Muslims, for your Quran prophets to make sense, you need the
Last
Bible.
action. Last action. Can the Bible, can Islam be wrong and the and Christianity be wrong at the same time?
No,
Because essentially
that's not possible.
because essentially what you're saying is the Bible is from God because Islam needs it. That's what you just said.
Okay, so yes,
remove Islam, remove any other religion, stand on its own, whether it's Islam, whatever. What proves that the Bible is from God? And I don't want to hear anything about another religion. What is the criteria that determines that the Bible is from God?
Oh, okay. If you track the history, like from Egypt and stuff like that, it's only the Bible can tell you that, about this history, about Babylon and all the other histories of this earth. You can get them from the Bible. So
That
that's
doesn't
what
mean
I
it's
will
from
tell
God.
you.
So from what I'm hearing is the Bible is true because
No,
it's history.
no, it's a proof that is from God.
So it's from God because it's historical.
Yeah,
That doesn't
in terms
follow.
of history, it shows you about the history
Go ahead, DeAndre.
about what happened on this earth.
Go ahead,
That,
DeAndre.
that doesn't follow. A book can be historical and still be not from God. Like that doesn't. What's the argument for that?
Okay, the Bible being historical has also the prophets that lead us to God. Unless
Okay,
you prove
so
me
now
wrong
you're making
that Abraham never
yeah.
existed
Now
as a prophet of God.
okay. Now you're making two distinct claims. One claim you're saying it's historical.
How?
The second claim you're saying it's yeah. I'm gonna tell you. One claim you're saying it's historical. The second claim you're saying it's theologically correct because it talks about prophets of God. We're talking about the history. You said Egypt and Babylon. The Bible tells you exactly what
No,
happened.
I'm saying.
Brother,
Is the
brother,
o-
brother,
Last action.
brother,
Do
brother.
not
One second,
do not interrupt
okay?
the guy when he's talking. Let him finish, and you can
You
go ahead and
said
speak afterwards.
Jazakallah khair. You said that the Bible, when it talks about Egypt, when it talks about Babylon, when it talks about these historical places, it gets it all correct. I'm gonna grant you that. That does not mean it is from God. I don't understand why. Where are you jumping to the conclusion from the statement? Like, can you justify this?
Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. If history can agree that there was Abraham, right? And then this Abraham, he's been a prophet, he's been working with God. And then you find the story of Abraham from the Bible. That just proves that the Bible is from God.
That's circular. That's circular, and it's a category error because
How do you mean?
history. Because history doesn't deal with prophets and God. History only deals with what we have actual physical evidence of, right? So you're saying we have evidence that Abraham exists. Okay, sure. Then you're saying we have evidence that Abraham was a prophet of God and he was working with God. Is that what you're saying?
Because,
That's what I
brother,
said, yeah.
if you're appealing to the historical critical method, right? The historical critical method does not attest to the existence of God,
Yeah.
prophethood, prophets, revelation, miracles, etc. Anything
existence of
supernatural. Sorry?
Or the existence of Abraham.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Or the existence of Abraham or Moses or Adam, Noah. None of these characters.
So, like, how does that make the Bible from God?
So we're back to square one. We can grant you that yes, in the Bible there are historical accounts, right? But at best, then it's a historical book. It talks about history written by men, just like any other historical book out there that records history. How are you jumping from a historical account recorded in a book for it to be from God?
Yeah, listen. I don't object the fact that you say it's a historical book, but it's the historical book that talks about God and the journey with His people. I hope
Brother,
you understand that
can you
because
can you give us a criteria? So let's do this, okay? Just like how my brother asked the previous guest, okay, to cut it short instead of going round in circles, okay? Give us an objective criteria for a book
I'm
to
not
be
going
from
around
God.
the circle.
So give us an objective
Yeah,
criteria
I'm not going
for
around
a
the circle.
book. No problem. Give us an objective criteria for a book to be from God.
Okay, I said it's a historical book that can only link you to old prophets that will only lead you to God. For example, right? You can find that throughout
Brother,
history,
you're repeating the
people can
same thing
agree with
again and
you that
again.
Israelites they've
So
been. Can I finish?
sure,
Can I
sure.
finish? Can I finish?
You can finish, but you're repeating yourself, brother.
Thank you.
I already told you because if
I'm not
let's say
repeating. I'm not repeating.
okay, you can absolutely finish, but we're going to be back to square one
I'm not
again.
repeating.
That's why I'm
What I'm
stopping
trying
you in
to
the
say
middle.
is this.
Go ahead, complete.
No. What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this, right? Ah, when you look at the Bible, you will find the stories like Israelites were in Egypt, and after Egypt, they come to settle in the land that was once Canaan, and now it later is being called Kingdom of Israel. You will find these kind of stories, and you find the names of the places that have been named those kind of days, like Jerusalem, the cities that you still find them these days, and you can all that story about these places about Jerusalem can only make sense when you read the Bible. And when you read the Bible, it's going to trace you back to the miracles that God of the Bible performed during the time of these people, the time of the kings of like Solomon and other people. It can only read you back. That's why you can find out that this Bible is the book that really comes from God. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so that
That's
is your
super
objective
circular.
criteria, right? Go ahead, DeAndre. Go ahead.
Yes,
No, I'm gonna
yes.
let you take off. I'm just gonna point out that's super circular. That is insane. That is a big giant circle, because he's appealing to the Bible to establish that the Bible is true
Wow.
by saying, yeah, because you're saying the Bible's from God because the Bible says that God did miracles through His prophet. Like, yeah, that's the very thing that's being disputed is whether or not it's from God. You can't appeal to the Bible to prove you can't appeal to the what the Bible like. You have to prove it's from God first. Then you can appeal to it.
Okay, if I may ask, guys, how do you understand the Bible? What is the Bible to you?
That's not the topic at
That's not
hand.
the
Okay.
question.
You know what?
I can
No, but I'm
answer
trying to
No, no,
that.
say,
no.
me, I'm giving the definition of the
Go,
Bible
good,
to my
good, good,
understanding.
Fuad.
Yeah,
So
go
it
ahead,
looks
Floyd. Go
like
ahead.
you
Okay.
guys, you know something about it.
Okay, fine. I'll answer that. It's a man-made book, just like any other book. It's a man-made book.
Okay, so you don't believe of the stories of the Bible that happened and the
Did I say that? Did
miracles
I say
and
that?
the kings and what happened in the Bible? You don't believe?
Did I say
No,
that?
I'm asking. You see, if it's a
Yeah.
man-made book, then something that
Right.
happened there, they all have to be like a friction.
Could there be two? No. Could there be truth statements in a man-made book?
No, they cannot be.
Really?
There could be no truth statements in a man-made book.
No, they can't be. Now,
Okay.
how do you mean?
So
How do you mean they can be
okay.
truth
So
in man-made
you're
book?
okay. So you're a
If someone
person,
is just
right?
guessing the stories, can they be true?
No, but that's not what I said.
You know
I
what?
asked you a very
Let's try
specific
this.
question. Go ahead, Ali. Go ahead.
Let's try this. Last action. If I write a book, right, a fictional book,
Yeah.
in my book, I
Mhm.
said
Mm.
100 years ago there was a war. There was a war called World War II. Is that true? Where the Allied powers faced the Germany. Is that statement in my book true?
No, it's not going to be true if that war never existed.
No,
But it
wait.
can only be
So
true if you had a.
Last action.
If you
Last
wait, hold
action.
on, wait, I'm
No,
not
no,
done.
no, no,
Wait,
no.
wait,
Last
wait.
action. No, no, no.
It can
Yes, you are
only
done.
be true.
Yes, you are done.
Wait,
Stop
let me
talking.
finish. Let me finish my
No, no,
point.
I'm not going. No, I'm not. I'm
How?
gonna repeat this again because now it's getting to the point where you're being ridiculous. Okay, I just told you if in my book, in my fictional book, I write in my book that there was a war called World War II where USA, England, and France and other countries were battling to fight Germany, Italy, and Japan. And it happened in the 1930s and the 1940s, if I write that in my book, is that statement that I write that World War II existed and it happened within the last 100 years, is that statement in my book true?
That's what I'm saying. It can only be true if that war really did exist.
Did it exist
But
then?
if it never did exist, it will only be
Did
just
it,
be a
did,
story.
did, but did the war exist? Did World War
If
II
you
exist?
have the idea that that
No,
story
last
really
action.
happened,
Last action. Last action.
yes. If
Yes
you
or
have,
no?
yes, it did happen.
Last
It did
action.
happen. Yeah,
So
it did happen.
it did happen, and it's in my book that it happened. So that means that statement in my book is true, right?
Yes,
Because it did
it's true.
happen. Thank you. So that doesn't mean my book is
Yes, because it did happen.
nonfiction. However, but this debunks your point. You can write something man-made and still write true statements in a man-made book, correct?
Okay, there it's where you did not understand what I was trying to say.
Can you answer my question? You can have a man-made book, but still have true statements in that man-made book, correct?
Yeah, you can have it only when you quote it from the really
Thank
original story that
you.
happened.
Okay, Fawad,
If
go
not,
ahead.
then it cannot happen. Can I respond now? Okay, can I say something now?
Sure, go ahead.
Can I say something now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. About the man-made book, it can only be impossible if you write about something. Maybe you write about something astronauts that went to the moon. If the story never happened and then you write it accurate like it did happen, then that's impossible. You only if you quote from the story that did happen before, then when you're writing the book, then yeah, it's okay. That's very possible. So the stories that happen in the Bible, it's been written like 1,000 years, like 1,000 years apart. And all these stories, they were really in line in one statement, and they've been written by a lot of different authors. That's one thing that can show that the story of the Bible really makes sense, because it only shows from the how people, how human being like go sin against God, and then they come to salvation. That's what it says.
What the
All right,
hell was
so
that?
let's take the conversation in a different direction, since we're going in circles for a while, right? Because all I'm hearing is the Bible talks about historical events, hence it is a book from God. I don't know how you're making that leap, because there are plenty of historical
And the
books
future
out
events
there.
even.
May I complete? May I
And
complete?
even the future also. Future
May I
events also.
complete, brother? May I
Yeah, go on.
complete, or are you going to keep interrupting me? Thank you. Okay. So what if we were to point out some ahistorical events for you in the Bible? What then? Would that make Bible
Okay.
not to be
Okay,
from
go
God?
on.
Yes or no? Did you hear the question, or do you want me to
I'll
repeat
say
it?
yes.
So
Yes, I
if
heard
I
your
prove
question.
to you,
You said if you
some-
point out some historical events that the
that
Bible
did not
misquoted,
take place.
that's what you say, right?
Yes, that did not take place.
Yes, go on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So, for instance, in Exodus, right? In the Exodus event, it says that 600,000 with families, right? So 600,000 men with families, that would make it a minimum of 2 million, okay? Plus stock and cattle, right? They went on this Exodus event. Now, we have no archaeological evidence of this whatsoever, okay? That almost 600,000 men plus their families and their stock and cattle, they migrated on such a large scale from Egypt, because we have records from back then from Egypt, and we don't see the Egyptian economy collapsing. Because if you have, let's say, almost 2 million people, that's the bare minimum, by the way, okay? That's assuming that you have, almost, one child per couple, and it's a couple, right? Because it says 600,000 plus families, so that would, so 600,000 men plus their wives, plus, let's give each couple one child, right? And we would see the Egyptian economy completely collapsing because, as we historically know, the Bible tells us that these people were slaves over there. So they were part of the economy, the Egyptian economy over there. Okay. So, first of all, we don't have any remains or traces of massive camps that were around the Sinai Desert. Second, there are no historical records documenting mass departure of such a large group of people from Egypt. Neither do we see that the Egyptian economy collapsed overnight around that time period. Okay, how do you explain this historical discrepancy? Go ahead.
Okay, that's to like that's all. It can only make sense to me if you could have said, okay, 600,000 something thousand people left Egypt, but the real actual numbers that may be like it's 100,000, because you don't have the real number of people who left Egypt. Then how can you come across that these numbers that never existed? Or do you have the real population number of Egypt
Did you
dealing
hear
with that
my
time?
Steelman, my
I
argument?
heard you.
Repeat my argument
I
to me,
heard you.
please. Okay, repeat my argument to me.
Okay, okay. You said if there were like a 600 something thousand people that they were camping in Egypt as like slaves for Egypt, and then they
Not in
left
Egypt, I
Egypt,
said in
it
the
could have showed the
Sinai
corrupt.
Desert. In the Sinai Desert, because
Yeah, it's okay.
they migrated from
But
Egypt to Sinai Desert, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now tell
So
me
which means
this.
they were in Egypt, right?
Yes, from Egypt. They left Egypt, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's what I'm
So
saying.
what happens to an economy? So if you have almost 2 million people that disappear overnight, that are essential part of your economy, okay, that's manpower. Okay, what happens to that economy if they disappear overnight?
According to your explanation, you say it's gonna collapse. That's what
It's
you
going to
said.
collapse. Do we have any
Yes.
historical evidence of the Egyptian economy collapsing overnight after this event took place?
Bro, that's what I'm trying to say. That yeah, do you have the real actual number of people happening in Egypt and those who left? Do you have
Yes
the
or no,
number?
brother?
Because I can tell you something, bro. I can tell you something.
Yes or no?
There was even one guy. Hold on. There
No,
was
no,
even one
brother.
guy.
I need a
Bro,
yes
can
or
I
no.
wait?
I need a yes or no.
Wait.
It's
It's
either a
okay. I
yes
know
or
you
it's
want.
a no.
Wait,
Okay.
wait.
And
I know you want me
if you
yes or
say
no, but
yes,
let
I
me tell
want
you
you to back
something.
it up. So please tell me, did the Egyptian economy collapsed overnight after this incident? Yes or no?
I don't know about that history if they collapsed or
Okay,
not.
perfect. We actually have absolutely nothing. No historical
Yes.
record at all of the Egyptian economy collapsing overnight whatsoever. So now, since I've proved to you that there's a historical error in the Bible, does that mean that the Bible is not from God anymore?
Okay, wait. Let me say something. I want to say something, bro. Do you know? Did you ever? There was this other man. There was this other guy in Africa. One guy, he corrupts the whole economy of Egypt. Did you know that by just giving random people,
Can you
God in
answer the
Egypt?
question,
Do you know
please?
that?
Can you answer the question?
His name
What
is
was my
Musa. I'm
question?
asking. Wait.
Yeah, what was
Hold
my
on. You're
question?
looking for 600 or something.
What was my question?
Hold on. I understand your question. Please. I
Yeah.
understand your question.
Yeah,
But I'm
repeat my
asking
question
you,
to me and
if
answer
one
that
guy,
question.
Musa, wait, bro, relax. If one guy, Musa, corrupts the whole economy of Egypt, right? One guy. Now you're talking about 600 something people.
Nothing to do with the question that I asked. Answer the question, please. I will keep repeating it until either you leave the stage or you answer the question. I'm a very stubborn person,
Yeah, you do.
brother. Okay?
The problem is
Yeah.
that, listen, you want me to answer your question, but you don't have the actual number of people leave the Egypt. That's a problem. So how will you
Did the
expect me to
Egyptian
answer your
economy
question?
collapse overnight? Yes or no? You have no historical record
what
of
are your
this.
findings? Did you
You
find it
gave me a
collapse or not?
brother. Do not interrupt, please.
What records do you have?
We actually have hieroglyphics from that time period. What are you talking about? Anyways, so now that I've proved to you, and I can give you so many other examples as well. Okay, so and all of these historical discrepancies.
Yeah, prove to me that it never collapsed.
Now, for instance, the Gospel of Matthew talks about the walking zombies. Can you tell me anybody, including Josephus or Tacitus or any of the historians, the Roman historians that recorded that there were zombies walking around, that there were walking dead walking around the streets of Jerusalem, according to Gospel of Matthew.
Zombies.
Yes or no? Yes, they are zombies because they were dead.
No,
and
they're
they're
not
walking
zombies.
around.
When Jesus hold on. When Jesus slays Lazarus, was he a zombie or a human being?
No,
When
I'm
Jesus raised
talking
anyone
about
else,
multiple
when
men.
they're
I'm talking
zombies.
about multiple men. I'm not talking about an obscure place where somebody did a miracle. This is something that the Gospel of Matthew says that people witnessed. Okay? We don't have any
Yes.
historical record of that whatsoever. So now, does that make
Matt,
Bible to be not the word of God?
no, listen, when these multiple men rises, it's not like they were staying in one place, bro. They were staying in different places. So when say people the witness,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was giving me a headache.
Yeah. Let's see.
Ali's like, yeah. SubhanAllah.
All right. We got someone backstage. Let's
Dude,
see.
if we already had somebody backstage, why didn't you get rid of him sooner?
Oh, you're trying to be logical with me right now? Bad timing, bro. Bad timing. I told you what this was.
No, I think the conversation will it will happen multiple times where the conversation will move from prove the Bible is from God to us proving it's not because they have
Exactly.
They prove to me. Oh dear God. Anyways, yeah. So far, yeah. No one's requesting up, guys. In the meantime, again, I find that very, very amazing that it's nothing but history and somebody's vision. Is that really as bad as it gets?
Personal experience, yeah. History.
Personal
it
experience.
does tell you, however, that these people are, it's like they live in a bubble because they have a very simplistic and reductive view of history. Yani, when Last Action, for example, started talking about history, what did he say? He said, oh, well, there were these Israelites in Egypt, and then they went to the land of Canaan, and there's a kingdom there. And this doesn't make sense unless you look at the Bible. What a reductive way. How many things have you left out? And this tells you they have a very reductive view of history.
And by the way, just to rub some salt in the wound, to answer his question, there is actual history that the economy didn't collapse. And how do we know that? Simple, because the Egyptian Empire continued. After that, there's records of the Egyptian Empire continuing past the 11th century, 10th century, 9th century, 8th century. If historically, and let's use our brains here, if your economy collapsed, and we're talking about the 14th century BC, the age of not necessarily the age of empires. It's a matter of empires trying to conquer one another. Which, by the way, historically, at that time, the Egyptians, and this is my history time, the biggest empire that went against the Egyptians that they had a rivalry with was the Hittite, the Hittite kingdom, right? The Hittite Empire. Now, if they would have seen that the the Egyptian economy collapsed, that would have been a perfect time for them to take advantage of the moment and attack Egypt. But no, not only did they not attack, there's no record of them attacking Egypt. There's also no record of Egypt collapsing because Egypt was surrounded by by empires to the south, the west, and the east. So no, and you tell me right now, I keep saying British, the Egyptian economy collapsed because they lost all that free labor, and no empires took advantage of it. That's one. Two, the Egyptian empire continued after that, and we have evidence to it because why? Because there was a pharaoh after quote unquote Ramses, who was historically known to be the pharaoh during the time of the Exodus. So there's a pharaoh. I think the pharaoh after Ramses is Pharaoh Meneptah II. I believe so. I may be wrong. So the fact that there are pharaohs after Ramses, the fact that the Egyptian empire kept on going on, that is clear evidence that, hey, this empire did not collapse even after we lost about 600,000 600,000 men with free labor. And by the way, guys, 600,000, it seems like a lot today, but back in those times, it was huge. You had whole nations completely made up of less than 600,000 people, not just men. So they had the advantage. If it's really 600,000 men, they had enough to outnumber some nations at that time, some kingdoms at that time. So it would have been a lot if we're using history as the criteria. And on that note, that's why it's ahistorical that this event could have happened, at least to what the Bible says. So the Bible couldn't have gotten it right if we're using history as the criteria, as he was.
And that's even without even counting the amount of men in an army it would take to round up these supposed 600,000 people or more and take them back. So when you count, in addition to that, the Pharaoh's army and that they drowned, but how was Egypt still a thing?
Mm-hmm. And on top of that as well, because one of the ways that we track history is archaeology. You have any idea how difficult, how weird it is to have an event occurred with at least you have 600,000 men, over 2 million people, right? And we also have evidence for not evidence. We also have the Pharaoh and his people, and yet there's not one archaeological evidence for it.
And
I mean,
subhanallah, look how the Quran doesn't have this problem. Because
exactly.
according to the Quran, they were few in number.
There were few in number.
The Israelites were few in number.
So archaeologically, it's very, very, very unlikely that this event, at least to the way the Bible is portraying it, even occurred. Because I refuse to believe that, in the Bible also says that with the numbers, they were afraid, and they were in the wilderness and they were afraid because of the wild animals. You have 600,000 men. You're afraid of a few wild animals? Really? I mean, do we know how much 600,000? Again, there are nations even to this day that have less than 600,000 people in the nation, and you're telling me they're going to be afraid of a few wild animals? That story does not really make sense whatsoever. So, yeah, if history is the criteria, then even with that alone, it's like people who come and say the Bible is historical, they don't really know how to trace or track history. They don't even know, just ask them what history is, how do you determine history? Most of them don't know.
This would have been the late Bronze period, right?
Yeah.
Like 1300 BC. Because I'm looking at the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
So according to historians, first of all, they say that the total population wouldn't have exceeded maybe like 2 million people in total. That's like really pushing it, right?
Oh yeah, empires were less. It's a miracle if it goes past 1 million.
Correct.
Empires were made of less than that, so that's why 600, as much as 600, even to this day, 600,000 is a lot. It was huge back in those times.
Right. So you have the Hittite Empire that you mentioned, right? They would have seized the Canaan and the Sinai, right? Like from that direction, they would have.
The Levant. Yeah.
Then you have the Levant. Then you have the Kush, the Nubia, right?
Kush and Nubia, yes.
Yeah. You have the Babylonians, and then you have the Libyans and all these other sea people, etc. Like they would have raided them. They were not an empire per se, but they were like these raids taking place. So they would have been the first one. So let's say the Hittite, the Assyrians, the Kush, and the Babylonians. They would have taken advantage of this.
But for some reason they did not. That's that's a huge mystery. Especially since just not long. By the way, the funny thing is, the Pharaoh, if the Pharaoh at that time was Pharaoh Ramses II, it's miraculous how this this empire did not take advantage of this, because if the pharaoh in the Exodus is the same Pharaoh Ramses II, then in Ramses II's reign, he apparently just got out of a war with the Hittites. They just fought the Battle of Kadesh. It would have been sometime within the past 20 years, 20, 30, 40 years. It would have been recent, less than a generation. So you're telling me right now, we just got into a war with Egypt, and now Egypt just lost their economy. They're weak. The pharaoh just died, and you're telling me I'm not taking advantage of this moment at all? There are no signs of me even attempting to take advantage of this moment, even though we just try. And by the way, the Egyptians did not win the war. They didn't win. The war was a tie. So even saying that, oh well, the Egyptians won and the Hittites were weak, no, they weren't. Both of them, even at that time, both of them were weak already, if you want to say that. So the Hittites had the manpower to at least try another attack again, especially since if the Egyptians just lost their pharaoh. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever as far as why they didn't do it, because they had probable cause. They have all the reason to do it, because they've had a long and bloody rivalry with Egypt going past hundreds of years. Doesn't make any sense.
The Hittites, right?
Yeah, the Hittites.
And
So,
the
yeah.
Hittites, technically, they would be today in what region?
The Hittite kingdom, it would be today. Let me see. I want to say Turkey. Let me see where
Indo-European. So
somewhere. Where
it's
would
West Asia? Yeah.
Hittite kingdom be today?
West Asia and
yeah, modern day Turkey, Anatolia.
Yeah.
So not too far away, and the modern day Turkey was going down towards the Levant region a little bit too. That's why the whole Battle of Kadesh even started in the first place, because both of them were trying to reach an area between Egypt and Hatti, which was the name of the empire, the name of the country, Hatti. They were trying to get this strategical location called the Amaru, which was the area between them. So the Amaru would have been wide open for the Hittites to claim. No evidence that they did.
So Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. I think these would have been the areas that it covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, either way. But again, guys, questions, please. If you guys are gonna come up, please. I know there's some questions in the chat. Please do come up, request up, because I mean, if this is the best that we got so far, somebody's saying history but doesn't know the history, and the other person claiming a vision. I don't see how you can even say this is credible, even to people that already believe in this book. I don't. And I know it's not just because I'm sleepy.
I know he couldn't wait to throw that in there.
What?
That you're sleepy.
Yeah, whatever, man. I'm still gonna get you guys back, by the way.
Inshallah, we'll wait for a little while. If nobody comes up, then we can wrap it up. But it's good. We'll try to do more lives.
Yeah,
inshallah, whenever you're
try to be
around.
more. Yeah. And by the way, there are times where we could just do lives, not necessarily put it on our streams, but we can just do it normally
on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, we were supposed to do it last week, but Fawad. Finally, it's not my fault.
Yes, I mean, I just messaged him, earlier. He was at work. I was like, right, let's do a TikTok live. Because I was on Sisters Tina's panel earlier, and I had a couple of conversations with while I was working, some Christians, and one of them, he just said some nonsensical words, and it flagged her live, so she kicked everybody out.
Yeah, that's Tina. when she
So
when
like,
she no, mashallah, when she gets overwhelmed or when she just has had enough, everybody goes down. So
Yeah.
mashallah, sister.
I'm like, yeah, I'm suffering for the sins of another. Blood has to be shed.
But well, mashallah for the sister. She's I don't know how people do it. Going live every day. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't do that even if I wanted to. I got a life, man.
And because I'm over here thinking these guys don't have, okay, it's okay. They obviously don't have jobs. They do. They got
Yes.
jobs, they got family, they got wives, they got husbands, they have kids. And I'm just asking, wait a minute, so am I just the bum? Like, am I the loser? Like,
The answer is yes.
not for real.
The answer is yes.
Not for real. This one brother, mashallah, this one brother says he goes live every night and he waits until his wife and kids go to bed, and then because his wife and kids are, they sleep early. So after they go to sleep, that's when he goes live. And he goes live for about 5 hours. And I'm saying, every day? He says, about every day. I said, dude, when do you sleep? He said, I know, right?
Yeah,
So,
I can't do that, actually.
I cannot either.
Yeah.
if you go,
it takes a toll on you, you know.
if you live on 5-6 hours of sleep and then you only have work, the live, and some time with your family, you can actually manage.
But who wants to go on 5 or 6 hours of sleep? Well, besides me, because apparently I've been told that it's not the healthiest thing to do.
Yeah,
especially for somebody my
See,
age.
I don't want to sleep for 5 hours, but I want to only need 5 hours of sleep.
Exactly. 4 hours. Now you're awake. Now your body's healthy. No deterioration whatsoever. No lack of brain function. You're doing well. But we all can't have nice things apparently. So, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, sleep is a blessing.
Yeah. I was telling a family member that people want to go to sleep the moment they wake up. That's the only time people appreciate sleep is when they wake up. But going to sleep, for the most part, people, they don't want to go to sleep, and then when they wake up, their alarm clock rings, they have to go to work. That's when they want nothing better to do than to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely one of those people.
That is true.
Waking up to go to work today, oh subhanallah, I said, why can't I just lay in this bed and just
if you
drift away?
if you prepare yourself for sleep, however, before going to sleep, if you prepare yourself for sleep, you will want it. If you make the right ambiance for it.
Questions, come on. I know there are questions. I know there are questions here already. Come on now. But okay, I mean, it's okay if we don't have that much, then we can go ahead and end the live right now. Then we can try again tomorrow, the day after, stuff like that.
Sounds good, Afi. Let's give it another 5 minutes, inshallah. If somebody doesn't come up, let's end it, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Saifullah, brother, how are you and how's life?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
I was gonna say life sucks.
No, I'm working. No. There are a few things I'm taking care of, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead first.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're expecting any actual details, you'll be waiting for a while.
Oh my God, Anahi, we do have to talk because I remember there was a conversation you and I had. I want an update on that conversation, by the way.
We still got 4 minutes. We still got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I did forget. Ahi, it's private. I'm not gonna say it out, but we do have to talk about that particular conversation.
Yeah, just so you know, I didn't do anything.
What?
I completely forgot about it.
No, you didn't. You make.
I forgot about
it. Come on, then fix it tonight. Well, today. It's been what, a month? Oh yeah, I was just gonna say real quick, and this is something that I found out through a video from many prophets one message. about again another historical failure that the Bible gets wrong and Islam gets right. In the story of the of Moses, right? There was two pharaohs, two of them within within an 80-year time span, because Moses in the Bible says Moses was 80 years old when he went back to Pharaoh and told, talked to Pharaoh, said, let my people go and stuff like that, right? 80 years have passed. So 80 years there was two pharaohs that reigned in Egypt, because the Bible says Moses grew up with a guy that ended up becoming Pharaoh. So there was two of them. So what do we do? So essentially within that time period, we have to find out which 80-year time span, at least 80-year time span, were there two pharaohs that reigned in Egypt. And how can we narrow it down? Simple. The title of Pharaoh only became the title of the rule of Egypt during the New Kingdom period. So we could remove anything that happened, the Middle Kingdom, the Old Kingdom, the first intermediate, the second intermediate, and we could just focus on the pharaohs of the New Kingdom period historically, right? Now, how do we narrow it down even more? Simple. There is a actual preserved, discovered tablet. It's called the Meneptah Stele, Stele. In that tablet, it talks about this group of people leaving Egypt, this group of ethnic people leaving Egypt. So historians relate that to the Exodus. It's talking about how this group of people are forcing their way out and stuff like that, and even talking about some of the plagues that happened. So historians date that to be the Exodus, right? So what does that mean? That means whatever the Meneptah Stele, when the stories that it tells, who was it named after? It was named after Pharaoh Meneptah II. So that means the Exodus must have happened before this particular Pharaoh, Pharaoh Meneptah II. So when you look at a whole list of the pharaohs of the New Kingdom period, from the beginning of the New Kingdom period all the way to Pharaoh Meneptah II, all the pharaohs that happened in between, all the pharaohs that reigned in between those two periods, what you're looking for is an 80-year period where two pharaohs were pharaohs of Egypt. And historically, there is no 80-year period where two pharaohs reigned in Egypt. You'll find at least three between an 80-year time period. Not one. Sorry, not two. You will not see that one time where two pharaohs reigned. So that historically, at least, is an inaccuracy when it comes to the Bible, because the Bible says in Moses' time there was two pharaohs that reigned, that went through within an 80-year time span. Historically, there's no evidence of that. As a matter of fact, the evidence goes against it. Now, how does this relate to the Quran? Simple. For one, in the Quran, it says that Moses was 40 years old, not 80, 40. And it doesn't say it doesn't say those two pharaohs. It actually says there was one pharaoh. So now let's talk about it. And that pharaoh has been with Moses since Moses was a baby. So now here's the big question: is there, using that same criteria, before Pharaoh Meneptah II and all the way up to the first pharaoh of the New Kingdom period, is there a pharaoh that reigned for more than 40 years? Yes. And that's Pharaoh was who? Pharaoh Ramses II. Historically, he reigned for 66 years. That's what history says. So, and it would have been around the same time as Moses, the 14th century BC. Perfect timing. The 14th or 13th century, 14th century BC. That would have been the perfect time. That would have been the perfect timing. So historically, this is something that the Quran gets right, that the Bible gets wrong. But the thing is, the Quran, we don't base our criteria on history, but the Bible does. So even a text that doesn't even base its criteria on history gets history right more than a text that does base its criteria on history that gets it wrong. Make that make sense?
Beautiful explanation. Jazakallah khair, akhi. I think we can wrap it up, right?
Jazakallah khair. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's go and wrap it up. We can try.
Yeah,
We can actually try again tomorrow. See.
Inshallah.
inshallah.
Now, are we gonna stream it tomorrow again? Oh.
If you want, if not, we can do it directly on TikTok. No worries, inshallah.
All right. Well, let's see what the people in our stream want. So we can go ahead and ask them. But let's go ahead and wrap it up here.
All right, sounds good. All right, Jazakallah khair for everybody hopping on. And hopefully we'll see you guys again very soon, tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, the day after, whenever we get a chance, inshallah. Whenever we get the team to be available, we'll try to hop on.
Perfect. All right, DeAndre, you want to take us away on here? Oh,
Yeah,
wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, not a lot to say. This is a very short live, and I think it kind of demonstrates the common case for the Bible being from God. Is going to be like either subjective experience or an appeal to something which is not necessarily understood by the person who's appealing. And yeah, it was a really short live, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And inshallah, we'll try again whenever we get the team to be available. I myself am out of school, so I don't necessarily have a life. So I'm available when you guys are to do to do TikTok lives. So yeah, inshallah, we'll see you again. And subscribe to us, Connect to Islam on YouTube. Subscribe to Islam Guidance on YouTube. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You guys take care. We'll see you soon.
Wa alaikum
وعليكم
salam.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.